Well, today we're going to do a bit of hedge planting. It's quite a cold day, but it's certainly above freezing, and we're going to be planting a hedge, just linking up an area from here right down to the bottom. When you're planting a hedge, you've got to consider what your key objectives are. So in this case it's a boundary. You can see it's quite a rural setting in the background, and so that's going to influence the choice of species you're going to make. So in this case we're going to use hawthorn, Cretaceous monogyna, and we're going to plant a double row.
You may want, of course, a bigger hedge like an evergreen as a large shrub or something like that, and in which case something like a cherry laurel might be good. So it's evergreen, and the fact that it's large and giving you good all year round colour might be suitable. So that would be better in that situation. You might want a different kind of hedge, and in this case, for example, you might want a hedge that has got some flowers on it, and also maybe some berries or hips. And in that instance, something like a Rosa rugosa would be good. So you get the lovely pink scented flowers, and that's followed by big red hips. So Rosa rugosa would fit the bill in that particular instance.
We're going to plant them on spacings of 45 centimeters, can go right down to 30, and then we're going to stagger plant them. The method we're going to use is what we call pit planting, where you plant one, you use your spacer, plant another about twice the size of the roots, and we pit plant, and we keep sort of 45 centimeter spacing and keep moving them on that way. So we've got the plants here. You can see the plants have actually, this is Cretaceous monogyna. We've got some lovely roots on them, good fibrous roots. We're going to keep them covered up just to stop any wind drying them out too much. And then once we've planted, very important that we head the plant back so that it breaks and you get lots of nice shoots from the base. It's always a mistake not to head plants like this back. So what we've done, you can see we've set a line, and the line all the way around there to that bottom area. And now we're going to start to pop some of the hawthorns in, and here we go. So what I'm doing, I'm just using a spacer to space out. I've got the line down. Just going to put a couple in there just to sort of start us off. And some of these have got very, very big roots on. And so having spaced it out, move it to one side, and then we start to do our pit planting. So literally, as it says, we're just taking out a pit and putting the soil to one side. The soil we're fortunate here is very good. So we'll chop that out. 2 bits of cobbles. So we want to go down to a depth, to the same depth as it was in the nursery. You don't want to be going deeper, but you do want the base broken up so there's no pans or hard areas where the roots can't get through. So that's certainly got plenty of width on that. So we'll have a look, try the plant and see what it's looking like. So you can see there's the gap. If I put my stick across, there's the mark in the nursery, and you can see I'm in line with my line just to one side. And what we do now, you just with your one foot, just pull some of that soil across onto your plant. Okay, just pull it across with your foot, and then just trample in. Keep your plant upright by holding it with your one hand. So you keep your plant nice and upright, and then firm that in, and then we can kind of add a bit more around it. Make sure that we've come right up to the original soil mark, nice and firm. You should be able to pull it and it shouldn't come out. Just give it a tug and it should stay in. That's number 2, and then we'll head them back to about here with the secateurs. Okay, and Again, on we go again. We can put the next cane in, line it up so you can see that's where the hole's got to go, just there. So we'll take out another pit. This is quite a big root system on the next one. You can actually nip the roots back a little bit if you want to. Pop that to one side. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put a row in, a whole row, and then put the staggers in afterwards. A hedge, good for creating a boundary, especially if it's thorny. One of the advantages of a thorny hedge is if anybody tried to come over it and burgle a house, they can sometimes leave their DNA on it if they scratch themselves. So that's why thorny plants are quite good, obviously, apart from the obvious that they spike people. Of course, this kind of hedge provides a habitat and a wildlife corridor for birds. So it's you can see a great big root system on this one. It goes right out to here, so, and it's a little bit deeper, so these are very good plants. Certainly can't notch plant them where you just do like an L or a T. So I'm going to have to go a bit wider to get that in, and a little bit deeper. So now we've got that, I can hold it in there. You can see sitting nicely now. Got my distance, and again we can just backfill around it. There we go, around there. Nice and firm, and then onto your next one. Okay, so just use your feet nice and firm, keep them pointing upwards, and then we'll look at the pruning in just a bit. So we've got the first row in, you can see here, and all we've got to do now is put the staggered row in. I'll leave the line in place just to give us a nice straight line, but I'm just going to do it the other side of the line now, and we're going to go in between to create like a stagger now by planting in between, but coming about 40 centimeters away from the plants on this side. Okay, so that should give us a nice staggered row. Then we'll head them back, then we'll mulch, and then we're just about done. And we're just going in between. Got the line in the middle. We're just making sure we get a nice, they're quite deep rooted, these hawthorns, really go down a long way, so having to, you know, really make sure we get the holes deep enough. And just so you can see here, if I put one in, see how far the roots go down, they're quite a depth. That's far enough. We can pull it back, keep it held up, nice, pointing towards the sky, and then we pull back the soil just with our feet and really firm it in. Don't be afraid to firm that in unless the soil is really a bit too plastic, which I suppose we shouldn't be on it then, but this is perfect for hawthorn. And then we're on to the next one. So one of the things that's often missed when people plant a hedge is they don't head them back, and you've got to head them back quite hard in order to get them to break at the base. And so something like this, I'm really going to hit it back by at least sort of half, and we're just going to cut them all back by half. We're going to put a rabbit guard around them, and then we're going to mulch them. So the rabbit guard, obviously in an area like this, the rabbits could come and up to about 50 centimeters and more if there's snow, they could just ring bark the trees or the hedge. The mulch is very important because the roots tend to spread sideways. It'll hold the moisture. It'll sort of act as an interface between any really heavy frost, so that will help a little bit. And obviously it supplies a bit of humus, a bit of nutrition, but the main thing is it keeps the weeds down as long as you've got rid of all the perennial weeds. So we're just going to do these few operations and then we're done. So now we'll get some rabbit guards on. I'm going to have to open them right out, hook it round the base, and then you're going to have to wrap it round as best you can. Obviously it's difficult with so many different lateral branches in the way, but if you do that, that's going to stop the rabbits ring barking the tree and killing the tree. So that will, especially for these first couple of years, get it established. So we're just going to pop a rabbit guard on these, and then we'll have a look at a bit of mulching to finish off. So the next part of the operation is to get some mulch, pop it round. I'm just going to tip a bit out. Just going to tip a bit out of the barrow, spread that around, just pop it in the middle. Now I'm going to keep it away from the crowns of the plants because we don't want any collar rot. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pop that in and then we'll just spread that around. I'm looking for about a couple of inches, and we'll just say keep it away from the crowns of the plant and just spread that around, and that will go all the way through onto the others as well. And a good 2 to 3 inches of mulch will make all the difference. Well, it just about wraps it up here. Just got to finish off the mulching and then the hedge is done, and we'll have a look in the spring and see how well it leaves out. Obviously you can use the trench method where you dig a trench and you fork the base over, incorporate a bit of organic matter if you want to. That's particularly for containerized plants, quite big containerized plants, and that's another method that can be used, but as long as it's a good systematic method that works, then that'll be fine. So hope you do well with your hedge planting. You can put rabbit netting and bend the netting back. Remember, it's underground and bent backwards to protect against the rabbits if you don't want the rabbit guards. So we'll see you next time.